You effectively knocked somebody out of a long-running psychosis, and now their reality is stranger than fiction. Right now, certain people are experiencing a reality shock so intense their entire worldview is collapsing in real time. This did not happen by accident. Your life prepared you for this. Every setback trained you. Every delay positioned you. This elevation is earned. Every time your name got spoken, the people speaking thought they were just having conversations. But spiritual laws don't operate based on intention. They operate based on action. And the action they were taking was petition, prayer, invocation. Every conversation became a ceremony they were conducting without awareness. Every mention of your name became a seed they were planting without realization. Every discussion became a ritual that was activating ancient principles they have zero comprehension of. These people were moving massive amounts of energy in your direction. They were directing focus. They were investing attention. And in the spiritual realm, attention is the currency that manifests reality. But because their hearts were corrupt, because their intentions were twisted, the universe inverted the entire transaction. What they meant as a curse became a blessing. What they intended as destruction became construction. What they spoke as your downfall became your elevation. They were literally funding your success with their negativity. They were bankrolling your blessings with their hate. They were commissioning your upgrade with their criticism, and they had absolutely no idea this was happening. Every word they spoke against you just added another zero to what God was preparing to give you. Every prediction of your failure just multiplied the favor being stored up. Every discussion about your inadequacy just increased the magnitude of the demonstration that's about to happen. And chosen one, that demonstration is about to go public. What's been happening in secret is about to manifest in plain sight. What's been brewing behind the scenes is about to explode into visibility. You didn't trigger this mechanism intentionally, but your obedience activated it anyway. When you chose not to defend yourself, when you decided not to clap back, you activated a divine defense system that operates on a level they can't perceive. Think about the restraint that took. Think about the discipline that required. Every time someone spoke against you and you chose silence, you were actually making a strategic decision. You were positioning yourself for something greater than temporary satisfaction. You were investing in something more valuable than momentary vindication. In certain minds, an alternate reality was created, a comfortable fiction where you played the exact role they needed you to play. In this fantasy, you were struggling, you were stuck, you were suffering. You were exactly where their predictions had placed you, and this delusion gave them peace. It validated their judgments, it confirmed their beliefs, it made them feel smart, discerning and right. So they invested in this fantasy emotionally, they committed to it mentally, they built their mental stability around it, they treated fiction like truth. The longer they lived in this delusion, the more real it became to them. Eventually they stopped seeing the actual you. They only saw the character they had created in their heads. That's psychosis. When the story in your mind becomes more real than what's actually happening. When fiction becomes more believable than facts. When fantasy becomes more comfortable than reality. This wasn't just a casual misperception. It was a necessary delusion. They needed to believe you were failing because your success would force them to confront things about themselves they weren't ready to face. Your elevation would expose their stagnation. Your breakthrough would highlight their bondage. Your freedom would reveal their captivity. So they built this elaborate mental construct where you were the problem. Because if you were the issue, then they didn't have to examine themselves. If you were stuck, then they didn't have to acknowledge their own lack of movement. If you were inadequate, then they didn't have to deal with their own insecurities. This is why the psychosis was so deep. It was serving a psychological function for them. It was protecting them from truth they weren't equipped to handle. It was shielding them from reality they weren't mature enough to process. And the longer you stayed quiet, the more elaborate their fantasy became. Because your silence didn't mean you agreed with them. Your silence meant you were secure enough not to need their validation. And that security threatened everything they had built their false confidence on. What they didn't understand is that your silence was actually convince others of their value. People who are certain of their calling don't need to explain themselves to critics. When someone has been living in a pleasant dream for a long time, being ripped out of that dream is traumatic, it's violent, it's disorienting, it's painful, and that's exactly what's about to happen to these people. They're not going to be gently awakened, they're not going to be slowly brought back to consciousness, they're going to be yanked out of their fantasy world with force, and the shock of that transition is going to break something in them, not because you're trying to hurt them, but because truth has weight, reality has impact. When someone who's been living in lies suddenly collides with facts, the collision is severe. You're going to see the exact moment it happens. You're going to watch their faces change. You're going to observe the recognition hit them. You're going to witness the crack in their confidence. They're going to see you, not the version they created, not the character they wrote, not the role they assigned, the real you, the blessed you, the elevated you, the favored you, the anointed you, and the disconnect between what they expected and what they're actually seeing is going to create cognitive dissonance so severe that their whole narrative structure will collapse. If these words stirred your consciousness, hype this video to help more chosen ones awaken to this. They're going to understand they were completely wrong, fundamentally wrong about who you are, wrong about where you were going, wrong about what God had planned for you, and that realization is going to trigger something even deeper. If they were this wrong about you, what else might they be wrong about? If their discernment failed this catastrophically, how can they trust any of their other judgments? If their predictions were this inaccurate, what does that say about their spiritual understanding? That's the real crisis. That's the actual breakdown. It's not just about being wrong about you. It's about having to question everything they thought they knew, having to examine every assumption they ever made, having to reconsider every conclusion they ever reached. The foundation of their entire worldview is cracking, and they're standing on it when it happens. They're going to realize that all the signs were there. They're going to recognize that the evidence of your transformation was visible the whole time. They chose not to see it. They actively ignored the indicators. They deliberately overlooked the proof, because acknowledging your growth would have required them to abandon their fantasy, and they weren't willing to do that. So they kept their eyes closed even when the light was shining. They kept their ears shut even when the truth was being spoken. And now, when they finally opened their eyes, when they finally unstopped their ears, the intensity of what they've been missing is going to overwhelm them completely. A false reality about you didn't exist in isolation. These people built an entire ecosystem around that false reality. They made friendships based on shared agreement about your failure. They bonded over mutual predictions of your downfall. They created communities where the main topic was how you weren't going to make it. Your perceived inadequacy became the glue holding certain relationships together. Think about how deep that goes. They structured parts of their social lives around you being less than. They built connections around you staying stuck. They formed bonds around you proving them right. So when that foundation crumbles, it's not just their belief about you that falls apart. It's the entire network of relationships and agreements they built on top of that belief. They're going to lose friendships over this, because the only thing certain people had in common was talking about you. The only reason their connection existed was shared negativity. The only bond they had was mutual judgment. And when you rise, when you succeed, when you prove all of them wrong simultaneously, that bond dissolves, that connection breaks, that relationship loses its foundation. Think about the awkward silences that are about to fill the spaces where your name used to be. Think about the uncomfortable moments when someone brings you up out of habit and then realizes there's nothing negative left to say. Think about the group chats that are about to go quiet. Think about the phone calls that are about to get shorter. Think about the meetups that are about to lose their purpose. Because when the main topic of conversation is no longer viable, when the central theme of connection is no longer valid, when the foundational agreement is no longer applicable, what's left? Just people who realize they built a relationship on sand. Just a collection of individuals who understand they bonded over something false. Just a group who finally sees they were united by delusion rather than truth. Some of these people could have been building something real. They could have been creating genuine connections. They could have been forming authentic relationships. But instead, they wasted time, energy, and emotional investment on negativity. They chose to unite around tearing someone down instead of building each other up. They opted to bond over criticism instead of celebration. They selected gossip over growth. And now they're going to pay the price for that choice. Look, you already know the attacks weren't random. And if you're paying attention, you can feel it. Their walls are closing in. So let's talk about what we're doing about it. That's why I built Destiny Engine. It generates personalized sequences that help you rewire betrayal into transcendence, turn isolation into sacred power, and transform their downfall into your rise. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed competition and scarcity and repurposing it to serve cooperative intelligence. The beauty is, you don't even have to lift a finger. You put on the headphones, press play, and your subconscious is rewired while your enemies collapse under the weight of their own lies. This is why I created it in the beginning, so everything they did to break you becomes fuel for your purpose. The collective upgrade is underway. Start your Destiny Engine for $1 today and watch divine justice accelerate in your life. Link in the description. You didn't even know this was happening. You were just living your life. You were just doing your work. You were just staying focused. You weren't plotting revenge. You weren't planning anyone's downfall. You weren't strategizing how to prove people wrong. You were just being obedient. You were just following divine guidance. You were just walking in your purpose. You were just trusting the process. And while you were doing that, while your focus remained on your own growth and development, the universe was handling your enemies for you. God was setting up your vindication without you having to lift a finger. The divine was orchestrating their awakening without you having to say a word. All you did was stay in your lane. All you did was keep growing. All you did was refuse to quit. And that was enough. That's the power of staying focused. That's the beauty of trusting God. That's the magic of not concerning yourself with what others are saying or thinking or predicting. Because while they were wasting energy talking about you, you were investing energy in becoming better. While they were spending time analyzing you, you were spending time elevating yourself. While they were using hours predicting your failure, you were building your success. And now the results speak for themselves. You don't need to defend yourself because your life is the defense. You don't need to argue because your blessings are the argument. You don't need to prove anything because your elevation is the proof. Every moment you could have spent clapping back, you spent leveling up. Every hour you could have wasted explaining yourself, you invested in expanding yourself. Every day you could have given to proving them wrong, you dedicated to making yourself stronger. So while they were in their meetings talking about you, you were in your moment growing beyond their comprehension. While they were in their group chats dissecting you, you were in your purpose being constructed by divine design. While they were on their phone calls predicting your failure, you were on your path preparing for your future. The whole time they thought they were keeping tabs on you, you were actually lapping them. The whole time they believed they were ahead of you, you were actually ascending past them. This is the advantage of focus. This is the benefit of discipline. This is the reward of consistency. While they were distracted by you, you were concentrated on your calling. While they were obsessed with your failure, you were committed to your future. While they were fixated on your past, you were building your next. And that focus, that discipline, that consistency created a gap between where they are and where you are that they can't even measure anymore. When psychosis breaks, these people are going to experience cognitive dissonance. They believed you were going to fail, and now they're seeing you succeed. They believed you weren't chosen, and now they're seeing that you're anointed. Those contradictions are going to create a mental and emotional crisis in them. Some are going to get angry, irrationally angry. Because anger is easier than admitting you were wrong, so they're going to lash out. They're going to try even harder to find something wrong with you, because if they can find that evidence, then they don't have to face the truth. They're going to search desperately for any flaw, any mistake, any reason to maintain their narrative, because accepting that they were completely wrong is too painful. Admitting they wasted all that time and energy on a lie is too humiliating. Others are going to go silent, completely silent. They're going to disappear from your mentions, and that silence is going to be louder than their words ever were. Because it's the sound of surrender, it's the sound of defeat, it's the sound of someone who finally realized they were fighting a battle they could never win. They were speaking against someone God was speaking for. They were predicting failure for someone heaven was ordaining for success, and now they know it, and the only response they have left is silence. Then there are going to be a few who experience a spiritual awakening. These are the ones who can actually humble themselves and say they were wrong. These people are going to come back different, changed, because watching your rise is going to break something in them that needed to be broken. It's going to shatter a delusion that needed to be shattered. And on the other side of that breaking, they're going to find truth. They're going to discover humility. They're going to learn real discernment that recognizes the anointing, even when it shows up in unexpected packages. Whether they get angry, whether they go silent, whether they have a genuine awakening, it's not your job to manage their response. It's not your responsibility to make them feel better about being wrong. Your only job is to keep walking in your purpose. Your only job is to keep operating in your anointing. Your only job is to keep being who God created you to be. Because this moment, this revelation, this breaking of psychosis, it's not really about them. It's about you stepping fully into what heaven has prepared for you. It's about you claiming the territory that's been assigned to you. It's about you occupying the space that's been reserved for you. And there's something poetic about the way this is all unfolding. They tried to use their words to limit you. Those same words became the very thing that expanded you. They attempted to use their predictions to cage you. Those same predictions became the very thing that freed you. Because that's how the divine works. What the enemy means for evil, God turns for good. What people intend as a curse, heaven converts to a blessing. What seems like an attack becomes the very thing that activates your next level. Think about how wild that is. They sat in rooms talking about you, and every conversation was actually a prayer meeting they didn't know they were holding. They gathered in groups analyzing you, and every gathering was actually a commissioning service they didn't realize they were conducting. They spent hours predicting your downfall, and every hour they spent was actually adding to the magnitude of your elevation. They thought they were tearing you down. They were actually building you up. They thought they were speaking death over your life. They were actually speaking life. They thought they were cursing you. They were actually blessing you. And the irony is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Now imagine what's about to happen when all this becomes visible to everyone. When the blessings they unknowingly commissioned start manifesting in your life. When the favor they accidentally activated starts showing up in your circumstances. When the elevation they unintentionally prophesied starts becoming your reality. They're going to watch in absolute shock as the very things they tried to prevent start happening right in front of their eyes. They're going to witness in total disbelief as the exact opposite of what they predicted comes to pass. They're going to observe in complete confusion as you walk into everything they said you'd never have, never be, never accomplish. And the beauty of this divine reversal is that it's perfectly calibrated. It's not random. It's not arbitrary. It's strategic. Every blessing that manifests in your life is going to be specifically designed to contradict a specific lie they told. Every door that opens for you is going to be precisely positioned to expose a particular prediction they made. Every level you reach is going to be carefully orchestrated to shatter an exact assumption they held. God isn't just blessing you generally. God is blessing you specifically, strategically, intentionally, in ways that serve as direct rebuttals to the narrative they constructed. So when you get that opportunity they said you'd never get, that's not coincidence, that's divine reversal. When you access that level they said you'd never reach, that's not luck, that's spiritual irony. When you walk into that room they said you didn't belong in, that's not chance, that's heavenly vindication. Every single manifestation is a message, every blessing is a statement, every elevation is a declaration. And the message is clear, the statement is loud, the declaration is undeniable. They were wrong, you were right, God is real, and His plans for you exceed anything they could have imagined, and chosen one. When that happens, when they're standing there watching your life unfold in ways that contradict everything they believed, something is going to shift in the atmosphere around them. There's going to be a moment of collective silence, a pause, a beat, where everyone who was speaking against you suddenly goes quiet, not because you demanded it, not because you fought for it, but because reality demanded it, because truth commanded it, because your very existence in the fullness of divine purpose required it. And in that silence, they're going to hear something they've been ignoring for far too long. The voice of God, the whisper of truth, the sound of reality, and it's going to tell them what you already knew. That you were chosen, that you were anointed, that you were called, that you were destined, and they were wrong. Some of them are going to have an out-of-body experience when this happens. They're going to feel like they're watching their own life from outside themselves. They're going to observe their own shock. They're going to witness their own disbelief, because the reality is too intense for them to fully inhabit. The truth is too heavy for them to completely carry. The revelation is too powerful for them to entirely process, so their minds are going to create distance, their psyches are going to build protection, anything to soften the blow of being this catastrophically wrong about something they were this completely confident about. Let's bring this back to you, because ultimately this isn't about them, this is about you stepping into the fullness of who you were created to be. This is about you claiming the inheritance that's been set aside for you. This is about you occupying the territory that's been assigned to you. And every single thing that happened, every word that got spoken, every prediction that got made, every judgment that got passed, all of it was preparing you for this moment. All of it was positioning you for this elevation. All of it was setting you up for this breakthrough. You're not who you were when this all started. You've been refined. You've been strengthened, you've been fortified, you've been prepared. The pressure they put on you created diamonds in your character. The heat they directed at you forged steel in your spirit. The attacks they launched against you built armor around your anointing. You're not weaker because of what they did. You're stronger. You're not less because of what they said. You're more. You're not diminished because of their judgments. You're enhanced. Every negative word became fuel for your journey. Every false prediction became fertilizer for your garden. Every hateful conversation became the very thing that cultivated your growth. Some of the things you spoke over your own life weren't just your words, they were prophecies. God put them in your mouth. The divine spoke through you. Heaven used your voice. You were declaring things about your future. You were making pronouncements about your destiny. You were speaking things that seemed impossible at the time, and they laughed at you. They mocked you. They dismissed you as delusional. They said you were reaching too far. They said you were dreaming too big. They said it would never happen. And every time they laughed at the words God was speaking through your mouth, they were sealing their own fate. They were choosing to stand against something they didn't recognize as divine. They were rejecting truth they couldn't identify as truth. And now those words are coming to pass. Those prophecies are manifesting. Those declarations are materializing into your reality. And they have to watch it happen. They have to witness the very things they laughed at becoming real. They have to observe you walking into exactly what they said you'd never achieve. And now you're about to walk into a season of harvest, a time of reaping what was sown, a period of collecting what was invested, everything that was planted in your life, everything that was sown into your destiny, everything that was invested into your purpose. It's all about to produce a return, and the yield is going to be abundant, the return is going to be massive, the harvest is going to be overwhelming, because that's how spiritual mathematics works. You always reap more than you sow. You always harvest more than you plant. You always collect more than you invest. And in your case, with all the attention that was directed toward you, with all the energy that was focused on you, with all the words that were spoken about you, the harvest is going to be historic. It's going to be generational. It's going to be legendary. So get ready, prepare yourself, brace for impact, because what's coming is bigger than what you imagined. It's greater than what you anticipated. It's more abundant than what you calculated. The psychosis is breaking around you. The delusion is shattering before you. The fantasy is ending in front of you. The blessings coming your way aren't just for your comfort. The favor manifesting in your life isn't just for your enjoyment. The elevation you're experiencing isn't just for your status. All of this is being entrusted to you for a purpose that extends far beyond your personal benefit. You're being blessed to be a blessing. You're being raised up to lift others. You're being given resources to resource the kingdom. This means you carry a responsibility with this breakthrough. You have an obligation that comes with this vindication. Every door that opens for you is an opportunity to hold doors open for others. Every level you access is a platform to pull people up behind you. Every blessing you receive is a tool to bless those who are coming after you. The worst thing that could happen is for you to get everything you prayed for and forget why you were praying in the first place. The most dangerous outcome would be to achieve all that God promised and lose sight of whose power made it possible.